house contemplating about killing yourself. So don't you ever forget who brought you to big time box. How many times you dreamt about the 12 round?
Never.
Because that's the only thing that y'all can promote. Hello? Can you talk? Cat got your tongue?
The so-called biggest puncher couldn't even keep a man down in the 12th round.
Yeah, but this time around, you ain't getting up because I brought my 6-foot-inch nails and I bought a big hammer from Alabama, baby.
So they went at it yesterday, and I just want everyone to watch our buddy Joe Tess. Just look at Joe. He's calling the fight. Look at him. Look at Joe.
Get in there, Joe. Get in there, Joe.
Let's go.
What is he doing?
Tess ain't gonna do nothing. Let's go.
Joe, like somebody almost stepped on my Gucci.
Let's go, Joe.
Hold on.
Let's go, Joe.
Step on my Gucci's. My God, Joe Tess.
At least you didn't hold me back. Hold me back.
Right. Oh, that was priceless. We love you, Joe. Joe's calling the fight. All right. On that note, we welcome you to another hour of Get Up. We come to you live every morning, live from the Heineken River Deck at Pier 17. And here comes the menu for hour number 2. It is time to get up with the NFL playoffs. A massive change about to be approved. Wait until you hear what it might have meant for Mahomes last year. That's first up. And then a legendary Cowboy has advice for the new star in Dallas. And one member of our crew does not like it. And then Houston, we have a problem. If you thought the Astros weren't sorry enough before, wait until you hear what they're saying now. You will in this hour of Get Up, which starts right now, with major changes potentially on the way in America's most popular sport. Sources tell our Adam Schefter that when the new collective bargaining agreement is finalized, which could be within the next week, the league is going to add a 7th playoff team to each conference starting with this coming season, the 2020 year. There would now be 6 total wildcard games instead of 4, with only the number 1 seed in either conference getting the bye. That's the big change here, is the added playoff game. Everyone's talking about 17-game season. That's a big deal. But this format, the current playoff format, in the years they've been doing it, there have been 10 teams that won at least 10 games and missed the playoffs. 9 of those would have made it under this format. Meanwhile, 9 teams that have finished 7th in a conference in the current format had 8 wins. All of them would have made the playoffs under the new format. So it's a big difference. And each of the last 2 Super Bowl champions were 2 seeds. How important is a first-round bye? No team has made the Super Bowl without a bye since the 2012 Ravens. So does that mean Kansas City wouldn't have made it this year if they needed to play an extra game? Or New England the year before? Those are the last 2 champs? I guess we don't know, but it's worth considering. How close is this to being a reality?
Pretty close. I mean, it has to be voted on by owners and players. And look, it's part of a great big, 10-year collective bargaining agreement that has a lot of things in it, including the option for the owners to go to a 17-game season at some point. The owners are meeting today, about a mile from here, at the Conrad Hotel in New York. I'm going over if anybody wants to come with me. Okay. Talk to the owners. If they vote today to approve it, they need 3/4 of the owners to approve. Then the players are having a conference call tomorrow with their players rep. If 2/3 of them vote to approve it, all of a sudden this thing's in motion and could get done in time for the start of this league year next month.
And you told us that this is the one issue that both sides agree on. The players want it. Yeah. With an extra playoff game. So again, only 1 team would get a bye in each conference instead of 2, and you get an extra playoff game there. Do you like it?
Yes, I love the playoff format. Look, to incentivize the fact that you get a number 1 seed, the entertainment value. Obviously, I'm against adding an extra game, but when you talk about the entertainment value coming down towards the end of the season, right, and you may have a week 17 game possibly that determines if a team is a 1 seed or not, it's already the playoffs. Yeah. So you've extended it another week anyway for people that's fighting for that. It becomes more important to not play a game, especially because if you were the 1 seed, you would play the last place team and you lose that game, it would suck. Your whole season would just go down the drain.
And you have teams fighting for that number 7 seed too. Don't forget that. Now you have 7 teams, which adds to the intrigue of the playoff. I think the NFL playoff season is the best season in the year. Now you added 7 teams. I love this idea. It's brilliant.
I like it too. I've always been one who falls on the side of the sanctity of the regular season. I want those regular season games to matter. It is what makes your sport so compelling. College football, the playoffs start in August.
Absolutely.
And I don't. what I do like about it, by adding the significance of the 1 seed, I like that a lot because it does create more meaning for some of those games. Anything that doesn't water down or diminish the value of a regular season game, I'm good for. And who doesn't want to see another playoff game? So all in, I think we generally all like it.
And the numbers say what you said, 9 teams. There would have been 8 and 8 that would have been in under this format in the past 18 years. So 1 every 2 years. I think we can probably live with that.
And look, a part of it, G, is the beauty of the game of football. Like the fact, just getting in the playoffs. Like sometimes you like to determine, oh, this is an 8 and 8 team going against a 13 and 3 team. That's a 2 seed. This team should formally be better and they should win the game. That ain't the case in the NFL. That's the one great thing about professional football, is that you don't buy championships, number one. And the other thing is, like we've always said, it's cliche, any given Sunday. So you let an 8 and 8 team that's on the rise get in the playoffs at a 7 seed, and they play that 2 seed and win, then you've already proven that it was a good thing to do.
This past season, the Steelers in the AFC and the Rams in the NFC would have made the playoffs under this new format, which again will probably kick into place this coming year. Meanwhile, on the field stuff, and that involves Dallas again, because as this offseason continues to roll along, there is still no deal for Dak Prescott. And former Cowboy and Hall of Fame running back Emmitt Smith recently had these comments about Dak possibly taking less so they can keep other stars. Listen to this.
Dak has to understand and maybe take another perspective. The perspective may not be all the money that you get. It may be how much of the money you're willing to leave on the table, because the Cowboys is a marketable organization. So if you are the face of the franchise, would it not, instead of taking 35, would you take 28 and leave some for Amari and pick up the other 35 through endorsements?
So if you're just joining us, we had a pretty heated and spirited debate about this subject a little bit earlier this morning, and we wanted to set aside a little extra time. So we understand Emmitt Smith is an interesting person to be saying that, considering he very famously held out the first 2 games of a season. But I would argue quarterbacks are in a different circumstance. Swagoo, tell me and tell everyone why you disagree with that notion.
Because you don't leave money on the table in this league. Like we talk about this like it's a foregone conclusion that guys are going to continue to play football for the duration of their contract. Number one, it's not guaranteed. The second thing is Dak Prescott has already been playing at a discount based on his production. What he's given the Cowboys has far outweighed what he's been compensated. And I get it. That's a 4th-round draft pick. You get paid what you slotted and all of that type of stuff. But when you talk about Dak Prescott leaving money on the table, if you tell him to leave $2 to $3 million on the table for the next 5 years, we're talking about a $10 to $15 million difference. Now, I don't know what household y'all grew up in, all right? But if I went and told my mom or my dad, poor as we was growing up, that I was going to leave $10 to $15 million on the table over the next 5 years, they'd have put me out on the street.
But, so yes, I get that. Right. But what if you told them, because it is an investment in $100 million I'm going to make coming down the road?
See, they don't understand that. That's rich people talk.
When you look at
But he's a rich person. He's going to be a very rich person.
He about to be.
Emmitt, look at Emmitt. First of all, you see Emmitt got the gray in his goatee. That's wisdom. See, that's wisdom. He's trying to give this young man some wisdom. He's trying to say, listen, take a little bit less now, because long term, if you're able to put talent around you so you can reach your potential and the Cowboys can reach their potential, meaning to go to a Super Bowl, then you can make that money up on the back end, even if it's not on the field. You know how much money Emmitt Smith makes off the field? You know how much money he was making off the field as they were winning Super Bowls down there in Dallas? So I think he's trying to give this young man a little wisdom, a little OG game, so he can make big decisions, great decisions, not only for his future, but for the future of the Cowboys too.
Listen, whether people want to hear it or not, there just is more value in being a star on the Cowboys than any other team. There was a time, and it wasn't long ago, where the #1 analyst on 3 of the 4 networks were Troy Aikman, Tony Romo, and Jason Witten. Do you think that would have happened if the 3 of them had played for the Jaguars?
No.
And that is not, and I'm not insulting anybody with that. There's just something different about that. There is a different, if Dak Prescott is a great quarterback for the Cowboys for 10 years and define that as wins a lot of games and maybe wins a Super Bowl, he will make so much money over the course of his life that it will be irrelevant how much he left on the table here. So the real question is, does leaving that money on the table assure you of anything? That is what I'd be considering.
No, of course not. And that's the problem.
Why are you so frustrated with that?
Because
what part of it? I'm so sensible.
You don't get the 10 to 15 back. I don't care how much you make in other things. you still left 10 to 15 million on the table. Don't tell me, oh, Marcus, you'll make 25 if you take this less. Well, what about I make 45? Because I can get the 10 to 15 and the 25 off the, regardless of if Dak takes a contract and takes less money or he get the contract that he wants. He's still going to be the Cowboys quarterback. He's still probably going to have a lot of success because you figure it out unless you want to lose the rest of his career. And the other thing is, I'm going to make another 25 on top of that. And then I might work for a network and get off of 10 to 15 to commentate a game. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with making 10 to 15 more than what you talk about making off the field. That's where I am with it.
I'm on your side, and the reason is
thank you, somebody.
I'm on your side, Greeny.
The double, it's a double standard. Emmett's not sitting there telling Jerry Jones, hey, leave a little extra money on the table. Don't go for that 17th game in this new labor deal. You guys don't need it. You run the risk of wrecking your product. It is not the player's job to help the team manage the salary cap. And paying a top-level quarterback should not be a crippling problem for a well-run franchise in a league where you can manipulate the salary cap through various signing bonuses and roster bonuses and option bonuses. You see it all the time.
You can do it.
The Cowboys can give Dak whatever you want. I'm not saying pay him more than Russell Wilson. If they don't feel like it's worth it, that's one thing. But I'm not going to sit there and tell Dak Prescott, hey, you need to take less money for the good of the team.
But the
because
part
that's
of that
not
I
his
have
job.
to quibble with is you can't say you can do it when no one has done it. No one has ever won a Super Bowl with their quarterback getting 15% of the salary cap. It has literally never happened.
Well,
the Patriots have been a dynasty because they've had a quarterback on a rookie deal for 20 years.
I mean, it's
Well,
not a
G,
rookie.
I would,
You know what I'm saying?
I, would,
he's
I
taking
totally
less money.
understand that,
maxing
but
out.
I would damn sure try to be the first one.
I get it, but I think I am not making an argument that Dak should take less money.
100%.
I'm saying he should make an investment in ultimately making more money, and Mahomes is the same. Patrick Mahomes has a chance to be the greatest quarterback that ever lived, right? The way to do that is you got to win a bunch of championships. There's no way to count the amount of money that's worth.
Yeah.
Like being the greatest quarterback of all time, he'll be making $30 million a year 30 years from now if that happens.
Marcus's point is you can't see the future. This is money he feels he's earned and entitled to. He's going to go for it. Same with Mahomes. I don't see anything wrong. Plus, the salary cap's going to keep going up.
Desmond, tell him he's wrong.
I need to leave.
Dead wrong.
Tell
Dead
him he's
wrong.
wrong.
Come out to lunch with me.
Well,
We'll
look, with
talk
all
about it.
that, all that bread you got,
Yeah.
just, leave some on the table.
I'll explain that for you. I will, if it's an investment, we'll be okay.
There we go.
All right. Coming up on
Negotiate
Get
deals
Up.
out here.
What do Mozart and Metallica have to do with Baker Mayfield's footwork? You're going to find out, and Swagoo's going to interpret it for you. Plus, the Lakers and Clippers on a collision course for the Western Conference Finals. One of our guys says, not so fast. You'll hear why next.